Now, this brings us to the return of the living dead.
Now let's start off with what the main character's description and backstory would be. For all sakes and purposes, I'm going to assume she was reincarnated somewhere in modern times, right after the First Cold War, in a distant country and male. What is most likely to happen is that this reincarnate, or avatar, would try to reclaim the throne and oust Vladimir Putin and the Russian parliament from power somewhere in 2017, the soonest. Now, this avatar would be a very brave young man with an average build of some sort and looks similar to either Anastasia or her father. So this would mean that he was born as early as 1992 or as late as 1999. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'll go with 1993 just because I said so. Yeah, that seems about right. We know that this avatar would hate communists with a burning passion for vengeance. This would lead to the question, where was he born? We know for sure that if Anastasia had planned out her new life in the afterlife, then she would want her avatar to be born and raised in a non-communist nation. Most likely a capitalist country, and perhaps in the West. Again, anyone's guess would be close to correct, but let's say America. He would no doubt be taught to hate communism in this nation, and his family would be similar to Anna's in cultural and political upbringing at least. But once he finds out that he's just a reincarnate, he would question life itself and the world around him. This is a man who would develop into a scholar-like person. He would develop a personality that's similar to Anastasia and her father Nicholas. In other words, this avatar is the son Nicholas II wished he had, and would no doubt show no mercy to anyone who opposed him. If he had managed to reclaim the throne, then all communists and suspected communists in the Russian Commonwealth would die. He would go as far as to ban the color red on public property, so all of Red Square would be repainted to his favorite color, and if you were caught wearing red at all, you would either be charged a ticket or be arrested. Even though he might not seem like a very great person, he would be preferred over Putin anyway by the suppressed people of Russia, and that could lead to his rise. In other words, he would try using similar means to achieve his goal by promising the people greatness just like Lenin and Hitler before him. But this doesn't mean he would be evil. This civil war in Russia would last about a year or so until Putin is defeated and the Avatar is restored to the throne in approximately 2018. The new Tsar would despise Russia's neighbors, China and North Korea, and might declare war on them. But then again, I doubt this Tsar would make the first strike in a nuclear war. Vietnam would be considered an outcast along with Cuba and Laos. As for Japan and Europe, I think any issues between Japan and Russia would be settled quite quickly. Europe would be even more of an enemy than they are to Russia now. Because the Eastern nations would feel paranoid of a new Imperial Russia, the new Tsar would try to strike a deal where war could be avoided as long as the nations in question join the Russian Commonwealth. This would be the same thing as the British Commonwealth, and some of these nations would agree, but the EU would protest. It's possible that Spain, Britain and France would agree with Russia's proposal to keep the peace, but nations like Germany would refuse, and the EU states if you join another organization with non-NATO members, you would be expelled. This Imperial Russia wouldn't join NATO because they would see America as a rival. They would especially hate Trump and Obama and Clinton and Saunders and Bush, etc. Minorities in Russia would be treated differently for either better or worse depending on the new Tsar's personality. I would believe he would still hate Jews and queers and even Muslims. Skin color racism, on the other hand, would be banned, though, along with modern slavery. Sexism would be reduced but still exist, while religion would be more diverse. Alright, now we're once again at the end of the video. Pretty interesting stuff so far. Can't wait to see how everything turns out in part 2. And I hope I've answered certain questions of yours, Leo. don't plan to disappoint you in any way, or the rest of you for that matter. Now, I have to take a break with Codename Altair for the meanwhile. For Part 2 is not going to be released for a little while. Well, the next video to be released will be Part 1 of Episode 1, Project Y of Codename Deneb. It's time we brought that show back from the grave. And then after that is going to be a special project with a certain introduction from a very famous celebrity. We all hope to see you all there. Bye-bye.
Ah yes, there is one thing I forgot. Hope is such a splendid thing.